नमस्ते, मैं हूं राहुल और आप देख रहे हैं मेरा रुख। आज हम एसपी सिंह सर के साथ में एक बड़े ही इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक पर बात करने के लिए जुड़े हैं और वो टॉपिक है एयर स्ट्राइक। जो भारत ने पाकिस्तान पर बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक करी थी, उस एयर स्ट्राइक के बारे में, उस एयर स्ट्राइक के बारे में सारी इन एंड आउट डिटेल, सारी इंसाइट्स हम सर के साथ जानने की कोशिश करेंगे। जैसे एयर स्ट्राइक कैसे हुई थी, फिर उसके बाद लास्ट 24 आवर्स कैसे थे, फिर अभिनंदन ने कैसे उनके F-16 को मारा। अभिनंदन जो विंग कमांडर अभिनंदन थे, उनके MiG-21 बाइसन के ऊपर कैसे मिसाइल लगी और वो पाकिस्तान के एरिया में जाके लैंड हुए, गिर गए। तो और भी कई सारी इंपॉर्टेंट डिटेल्स हम सर के साथ बात करेंगे। सर, आज आपने इस इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक पे बात करने के लिए समय दिया, इसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Rahul. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and your viewers and talk about how our national security works. Only thing I'll cover is I'll be covering only open source details, and there are certain restrictions which I can't cover because of security.
Absolutely.
So I will definitely cover to the extent that our countrymen come to know what actually happened and why it happened. Right. And there are a lot of fake narratives against it, but what we did, and that clarity will come by the end of our talk. Yeah, please tell me.
Absolutely. So sir, मैं सबसे पहले आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगा कि इस अटैक की जो शुरुआत थी, जो एक्चुअली जो जड़ था, वो था पुलवामा में हमारे ऊपर जो अटैक हुआ था, वो जिसके अंदर हमारे लगभग 40 जवान शहीद हो गए थे। तो वो पुलवामा अटैक के बारे में मैं थोड़ा सा आपसे पहले जानना चाहूंगा, उसके बाद में फिर हम एयर स्ट्राइक की प्लानिंग के ऊपर चलेंगे।
See, it is not, we are talking about only Pulwama that day. There is a history to it. I'll just cover in just a minute or so I don't waste time. A lot of people are aware of it. Sir. But we must understand the Kashmir insurgency, okay, it actually started around 1989, 1988-89. And it's moved up very fast, and the huge amount of infiltration took place, insurgency and violence took place in the Kashmir Valley. And this continued for some time till the army got deployed, and then we slowly controlled it. But somewhere during 2016, Burhan Wani, the famous Hizbul commander, he was killed in an encounter. And then to show solidarity and this and all, 2018, 2 years later, almost about 500 people were killed: soldiers, militants, civilians, all that were killed in violence. So this was a kind of sequence which was continuing, and then unfortunately, the government during that time, that is mainly the Congress government, was unable to do anything to stop whatever the army did. That was all, but the government was not able to take strong steps to counter. And in between, then we know that what happened, that the Bombay attack happened, okay, and the India still did not react. Okay, we were giving folders and folders to, or what do you call, the dossiers to Pakistan.
Dossier.
Which was at no value. Nobody looks at dossier. So it was showing our country on a weak footing. Okay, through and through. And this, you can say the terrorists were getting emboldened every day, because not nobody is doing anything. And army during that time was constrained not to take very strong action, though they were deployed. So these things, it kept multiplying and then kept emboldened. So one of the massive incidents then took place was on 14 February 2019.
Right.
So where, convoys of CRPF Jawans were going, okay, from Jammu to Kashmir for deployment. And one of the terrorists with huge amount of TNT inside his car and all, and then crashed into, like a suicide bomber, crashed into the vehicle convoy, and almost about 46 of Jawans were martyred.
Right.
Now this thing happened in 2019, 14 February, which incidentally normally is a Valentine's Day and people are relaxed, but then this happened on that day. So this now shook the entire nation and the country. Now this, if we had let it pass like the Bombay attack, okay, which had happened during the Congress regime and they did nothing. So the present government took a stand That's high time that we now avenge this terror attack.
Right.
You have to put an end to it. You have to make the terror outfit or terrorists, make them feel that the country is not a passover. Country is a country, and our country is a very strong country. So we cannot allow this to continue. This was the decision taken by the political leadership, which is what is desired. It should happen like that, but it never happened earlier. So it is good that political leadership took a decision. Now, when you take a decision, now to counter and execute, Army, Air Force have to get involved.
Right.
So, movement political leadership was very clear that we need to avenge this martyrdom and teach a lesson, if I call it. Then, obviously, Army, Air Force, Navy rose to occasion, and then there's a meeting with the Prime Minister, Defense Minister, and the Foreign Affairs Minister. Although that is the Cabinet Committee on Security, with the top notches, NSA, Deputy NSA, everybody is involved, and a lot of intelligence. So, entire thing was assessed while the country was, in grief for the departed souls and who had no role to play, but they were, martyred. So the country was anguished, and this anguish had to be. And we knew very well that Pakistan will not listen to any dossier or all that kahani. They're immune to it. It is a wasteful effort. There is no point in doing that. So we need to take action. Now the biggest problem there was that, China, India, and Pakistan, all three are nuclear states. And Pakistan has knowingly given that first choose policy. That means if something happens, we cross some red lines and they will go nuclear. Now, that's all that was done. So, in the backdrop of nuclear backlash, we still had to do something. Now, this, obviously, you have to create a lot of diplomatic mass, if I put it. So, our foreign minister that time and the defense minister, they spoke to various countries, including Prime Minister also, spoke to various superpowers, countries, everybody, and discussed this has to be come to an end. And obviously, I'm very sure they were part of this decision when they must have given go ahead, yes, it's time that India puts its foot down and does something. So whatever decision is taken at higher level, the culmination was that now we were ready to do some counter strike. But then when we're doing counter strike, we can't do over a country because directly country is not involved. We know it is involved, but we can't prove it. Exactly. So we had to now strike over some terrorist outfit which are there. Now understand how the political game was played. Why this? You people must understand why we did this and how we did this. So Pakistan has always been saying that on their soil there are no terror groups. Correct? It is always maintained that they are not. In fact, they say we are being victim of terrorism, which is a false statement. But then yes, they do, and publicly they do that. So Pakistan was always in denial that there are no terrorists there. So we chose the place terrorist camp. By intelligence, we knew very clearly, and we had intelligence from other countries also confirmation that there's a massive terrorist group meeting which is going to take place in the Balakot area.
Sir, I will interrupt you here. इसके पहले कि आप इसकी डिटेलिंग पे जाए, मैं थोड़ा सा इससे रिलेटेड एक और चीज पूछना चाहूंगा कि 14 फरवरी को ये अटैक हुआ, पुलवामा अटैक. उसके बाद हम लोगों ने करीब 10 दिन का समय लिया इसको एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए, इस एयर स्ट्राइक को एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए.
करेक्ट.
उस दौरान जो ये 10 दिन का समय था, उस दौरान हम लोगों ने आर्मी भी बहुत ज्यादा डिप्लॉय करी उस रीजन में, क्योंकि इसके पहले हम एक सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक कर चुके थे. तो शायद पाकिस्तान इस इंप्रेशन में था कि इस बार भी कोई लैंड से ही ऑपरेशन होगा, सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक से ऑपरेशन होगा. तो फिर ये एयर ऑपरेशन होगा, एयर स्ट्राइक होगी, ये प्लानिंग कैसे क्या हुई और फिर फर्दर इसको कैसे एग्जीक्यूट किया जाए?
उसके बड़े सारे रीजन हैं. आई अंडरस्टूड द क्वेश्चन. बड़े सारे रीजन हैं. फर्स्ट इज the biggest advantage, or you want to win this kind of strikes, or you want to get this thing clean, you have to, surprise is the most important element. Right. If I do the same thing again, उसे बोला था काट की हांडी बार बार नहीं चढ़ती. अगर सेम आर्मी स्ट्राइक करेंगे तो they already prepared now. We have done it once. Right. You try second time, they already prepared for it. So we'll have more losses. and we'll not get the success objective. So we had to do something different. Secondly, since this military training camp, which is in Balakot, okay, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area, this is well deep inside. Now, airstrike cannot cross an international border unless you declare war.
Right.
But the airstrike could have crossed the LAC, line of actual control, because this line of control is still not an international border. So there is a dispute. वो बोलते हैं ये हमारा है, हम बोलते हैं ये हमारा है, ठीक है ना. सो हम बोलते हैं उसको पीओके है, पाकिस्तान ऑक्यूपाइड अनऑथराइज्ड ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर है, वो कहते हैं ये इंडियन अनऑथराइज्ड ऑक्यूपाइड कश्मीर है. So this dispute is still pending at UNO, and whatever the reason is for the previous mistakes or the previous leaders, but at least it is a border where these things can be done. And then we were making sure that when we do such things, okay, as far as possible, our aircraft should not cross the line of control also. But if they cross, there's nothing much. So we are now, since it was in depth. Now imagine if the army has to do it, they'll get dropped, they'll now to travel all the way distance to go there. In between, they'll counter so much of opposition.
Right.
The previous army strategic strike was done was just next to border, which are within 10 kilometers. So they were just dropped by Mi-17, quickly they did and exited. For which I think movie or one of the movie Uri, something has been done.
Right.
Where it is very obvious, they went quickly into it and they were recovered. So that was possible, quick insertion and quick execution. Okay, that was possible closer to border. But since these targets are very deep inside, so you had to do something different. And the air is the best. Now, earlier, our country didn't even have the long-range weapons. So that means airstrike had to go well deep inside to strike. The moment you send airstrike deep inside, the enemy air defense fighters will come to attack. So then we had to plan it in such a manner, the secrecy had to be kept, and then planning to be such that we do quick entry, fire our weapons and out before the air defense reaction comes, and choose a time when they are the least expecting. That is the most important point. So it is not that, though anguish are there, immediately hurt karo, wapis karo, all that. But, when you take decision like this, you have to cool down, you have to think about it with cool mind and plan. The success of any mission is on cool mind planning. There may be pressure outside. The country was crying, quickly, we must avenge, all that. So government is under a lot of pressure. But then, despite that, we said we had to check the weather, we had to check and give our practice to our pilots, we had to choose pilots, we had to choose weapon, we had to choose which aircraft will do when, how do you, now when you do all such kind of thing, enemy radars are on. Now when you do this, so you have to first deceive the enemy or something else. That means a deception also has to be planned. That means I show enemy I am doing something else, but actually do something else. Now this entire planning, this thing takes huge amount of time. In fact, I must commend the Air Force that within about 10 days they were able to execute. It would have taken months. But the speed with which and the with the commitment it was done, it was a very good show that Air Force was able to come up with plan, quickly do all this planning, training of pilots. Now when you do this, you have to now get the actual intelligence, which is most important. It shouldn't happen that you go and hit something where there is so you'll be wasting your effort and weapon and everything, and no result. Aim was to hit the target, that is the terrorist camp, where so many terrorists are collected. So it would have hit the terror outfit, given a good damage. So for that, intelligence gathering, study the terrain, and this had to be done at a time when the weather was little tricky. Nobody expects you that time. Cloudy weather or something or then those kind of things you have to take the cover up. Then you also have to take the care that satellites are there in the air. So you have to choose a time when the satellites are not over that area. Because otherwise the enemy, somebody will come to know. If I go in the satellite period, everybody will know I'm announcing, I'm there. So I'll come to that, opposition parties, shame on them in our country. They're pathetic leaders, I'm telling you. That they were asking for proof. They don't know why this was done during that time, why it was done in satellite blind period. There's a reason for it. Our own pilots would have got, compromised. So you have to do. There are American satellites, there are Chinese satellites, everything is over us. So it has to be planned in such a manner that you find a gap. And during that gap, you go and hit. And that weather. So many factors. I can't cover everything here, but multiple factors are there. That's why it took time for planning. Then you have to, pilots have to be chosen. And the pilots should be such that they'll not speak to anybody. There are a lot of people in the chain will come to know, technicians will come to know, so many.
Right.
So you have to keep the secrecy. How do you keep it? Unless you keep it very tightly closed. And then AIRSTRIKE have to get on when they should not come on any radar. And if some AIRSTRIKE have to come on radar, it should be somewhere else. So we have to create a dummy strike somewhere else. So they all Pakistan radars look that side. And these AIRSTRIKE pop up only at the last moment, quickly do and come back. All that has to be done. It's not so easy. It looks like the simple thing, but it's a massive, complex exercise in itself.
Absolutely.
So I am telling you, 10 days or 14 days is hardly any time to plan this kind of thing. It's a commendable thing that Indian Air Force came up with this kind of plan so quickly. Now,
absolutely,
this is how the entire planning was done. And then, obviously, then we went for the execution and all that, this thing. So your initial time when you ask me what happened during this time, this is what exactly how we went about it.
सर अब मैंने एक और चीज पढ़ी है, स्टडी करी है कि फाइटर जेट्स बॉर्डर के दोनों तरफ कितनी हाइट तक उड़ सकते हैं, ये भी कुछ डिफाइंड होता है. अगर उस हाइट से ऊपर जाते हैं तो वो अलाउड नहीं होता है एक नॉर्मल टाइम पीरियड के दौरान. फिर उसके बाद में हम लोगों ने देखा कि जो फाइटर जेट्स उड़े थे वो ग्वालियर एयरबेस से भी उड़े थे, वो आगरा एयरबेस से भी उड़े थे, और कुछ न कुछ नॉर्थ हमारे स्टेट्स हैं वहां से भी उड़े थे. और जो आपने बताया है कि हमको एनिमी के रडार को डिविएट भी करना होता है, तो कुछ फाइटर जेट्स उस रडार को डिविएट करने के लिए भी टेक ऑफ हुए थे ताकि वो रडार वहां से थोड़ा सा डिविएट हो और जो एक्चुअल फाइटर जेट्स अंदर जाके जिन्हें काम करना है वो फिर एंड मोमेंट पे जाकर वहां पर अपना काम एग्जीक्यूट करके आए. तो सर ये फाइटर जेट्स को सिलेक्ट करने का काम कैसे होता है, मतलब कैसे चूज किया कि ये वाला फाइटर जेट्स या इस कैटेगरी का फाइटर जेट जा सकता है?
सही क्या होता है, आपको जैसे आपको एक टारगेट है, आपने उसको डैमेज करना है, ठीक है. उस टारगेट तक जाने के लिए, वहां से सेफली वापस आने के लिए कौन सा प्लेटफॉर्म सूटेबल है, पहले वो सिलेक्ट करना पड़ता. तो जो मिराजेस और Su-30 लड़के, दे आर दी एयर डोमिनेंट फाइटर्स. तो वो ना सिर्फ अटैक कर सकते हैं बल्कि अपनी सेफ्टी एयर डिफेंस में खुद ही कर सकते हैं. वो मिसाइलें भी लेके जाते हैं. अगर मान लीजिए एनिमी का एक आउट आता है, उससे डॉग फाइट करनी है, उससे मिसाइल फाइट करनी है, वो खुद ही केपेबल है.
राइट.
तो ऐसे जहाज चूज किए गए. सेकेंडली, उनकी एंड्योरेंस ज्यादा होनी चाहिए, उनका मतलब फ्यूल कैरिंग कैपेसिटी होनी चाहिए. देन उनके नेविगेशन सिस्टम इतने अच्छे होने चाहिए कि रात को हिल्स के ऊपर बिल्कुल हिल टॉप पे जाएं, ताकि हिल से ना टकराएं लेकिन पहुंचे, बिल्कुल लो हाइट पे जाएं और उस रात को एनवीजी लगा के, नाइट विजन गॉगल लगा के जाएं. ये कैपेबिलिटी सब जहाज में नहीं है, तो आपको ऐसा जहाज चाहिए. फिर आपको करनी पड़ती है टारगेट वेपन मैचिंग. टारगेट वेपन मैचिंग क्या है कि आपका कौन सा टारगेट, उसको किस तरह की डिस्ट्रक्शन चाहिए, कितनी डिस्ट्रक्शन चाहिए, और वो वेपन कौन सा है, कि आपके पास वो वेपन है, अगर है तो उसको कैरी कौन सा एक कर सकते. फिर उनकी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वॉरफेयर कैपेबिलिटी है कि उनको जो रडार है उनको जैम कौन करेगा. तो ये सब चीजें, बहुत सारी चीजें जिनको देखा जाता है, जिसके कारण फिर वो एक आउट चूज किया जाता है. फॉर्चुनेटली हमारे पास ऐसे हैं, मिराज 2000 हैं, अपने जैगुअर्स हैं, और हमारे पास Su-30 है, और अब नाउ रफाल भी हैं. तो ये बड़े हाई एंड एक आउट है जिसमें सारी कैपेबिलिटीज है. इनफैक्ट अभी हमें इतना कोई सोचने नहीं है, चलो ये जहाज कर लिए. तो मिराज को चूज किया गया था स्ट्राइक करने के लिए, Su-30 को चूज किया गया था एयर डिफेंस के लिए, उनकी एयर टू रिफ्यूलिंग के लिए IL-78 को लगाया गया था जो आगरा से उड़े थे, और उनके ऊपर उनको कवर देने के लिए, रडार कवर देने के लिए नेत्रा, हमारा जो इंडिजिनस एयरबॉर्न अर्ली वार्निंग सिस्टम है, वो एयरबॉर्न था. हमारे एवैक्स एयरबॉर्न थे. तो बहुत सारी चीजें थी, बहुत सारे सपोर्टिंग एयरबॉर्न थे. वो सब किया गया था ताकि अगर एनिमी की तरफ से कोई एयरक्राफ्ट आता है तो आपको पहले से वार्न कर दिया जाए. और उस समय ऐसा चूज किया गया रात को, जो रात का 2-2:30 बजे का टाइम था, ताकि बिल्कुल ली आर था. उसमें क्या होता है, उस समय आप देखिए फरवरी में, एक चीज मैं आपको थोड़ा सा समझाता हूँ मेटेरोलॉजिकली. उस समय क्या होता है, सब्सिडेंस होती है. सबसे हमें रात को ओस पड़नी शुरू हो जाती है, ठंडा एरिया जो है पख्तूनख्वा हिली एरिया, तो वहां पे क्या है, थोड़ी डेंस हो जाती है स्मोक, जो फॉग है। अब जब अगर फॉग या जो सेटलिंग डाउन है, जो ह्यूमिडिटी है, उसके कारण क्या होता है, जो आपकी रडार वेव्स है वो बेंड हो जाती है।
ओके।
तो आपकी जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेव्स हैं, रेडियो वेव्स हैं, वो बेंड हो जाती हैं, तो उनकी कैपेबिलिटी भी थोड़ी कम हो जाती है, इन्वर्जन लेयर बोलते हैं उसको ना। तो ऐसा बड़े सारे फैक्टर हैं जो ध्यान में रखे जाते हैं, मैं एक एक करके बता रहा हूँ। तो इन चीज़ों के चलते हुए तो एक टाइम चूज किया जाता है, फिर वो कैपेबिलिटी उस जहाज की हमने देखा। अब जो वेपन हमने चूज किया, वो वेपन क्योंकि हमें बिल्कुल वहां तक नहीं जा सकते, तो हमें दूर से लॉन्च करना है। तो ये जो स्पाइस 2000 वेपन किया गया, जो इजरायली वेपन जो हमारे पास था, मिराज में ऑलरेडी है, उसका है कि वो 100 किलोमीटर प्लस दूरी से लॉन्च किया जा सकता है।
ओके।
तो जो ये टारगेट थे, ये LAC से करीब 130-140 किलोमीटर थे।
ठीक है।
तो हमें ज्यादा अंदर जाने गए, मतलब हम जाके लॉन्च करके वापस आ गए।
हाँ।
उसका जो वेपन ऑटोमेटिक है, अपना पूरा टारगेट पूरा जाके हिट करते हैं, मैं बताऊंगा वेपन के बारे में। तो बेसिकली इस तरह, अब उसके लिए अब वो एक आध जो है उनको एक ज्वाइन अप कराया जाता है, जैसे कोई ग्वालियर से उड़ा, कोई आगरा से उड़ा, कोई सिरसा से उड़ा, कोई मान लो हलवारा से उड़ा, अलग अलग। वो एक आध का एक सिस्टम होता है हमारा, वो प्लानिंग में होता है सारा, अपने अपने टाइम पे एक जगह जाके ज्वाइन अप हो जाते हैं, फिर अपने अपने रोल के लिए रोल करते हैं। तो जब ये मिराजेस फाइनली स्ट्राइक के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो इनके एक तो जाते हैं, एक होता है TFR, टेरेन फॉलोइंग रडार, वो बिल्कुल आप लो हाइट पे उड़ सकते हैं, मतलब बिल्कुल इंचेस ऊपर, जैसे होता है फ्यू फीट ऊपर, तो आपको रडार पकड़ नहीं पाएगा। दूसरा मैंने आपको बता दिया कि सब्सिडेंस के कारण रडार की वेव्स जो है वैसे ही डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाती है। तो बड़े सारे चीजें जिससे कि रडार आपको डिटेक्ट कर ही ना पाए उस एरिया में। और उस सबको सेव करने के लिए हमने एक नीचे थोड़ा डाउन साउथ एरिया में हमने एक जो है एक स्ट्राइक जो क्रिएट करी गई, जो ये दर्शाया कि हम स्ट्राइक करने जा रहे हैं साउथ में, पंजाब के साउथ में। तो वो एक मैसिव स्ट्राइक क्रिएट की गई, जिससे वो लग रहा था कि शायद वहां, तो उनके पूरा जो एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम है वहां अलर्ट हो गया। उनको इस तरफ तो ध्यान ही था कि यहाँ भी कुछ, उनको लगे उधर आ रहे हैं। तो एक डाइवर्जन क्रिएट की गई, जो गए नहीं, किसी को क्रॉस नहीं किया। अब जो आप हाइट की बात कर रहे हैं बॉर्डर की, उसका कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है, कोई ऐसा कि आप किसी भी हाइट तक जाते हैं, लेकिन लिमिटेशन क्या है, पीस टाइम में आप इंटरनेशनल बाउंड्री IB, उसके आप जो है 10 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा क्लोज नहीं आ सकते। नॉर्मली 20 किलोमीटर, नॉर्मली 20, पर आप 10 किलोमीटर तक आए तो आपको वार्निंग दूसरी कंट्री दे देगी भी आप क्रॉस करने वाले हैं, अपने रडार भी आपको बताएंगे आप क्रॉस करने वाले हैं। तो अगर आप क्रॉस फिर भी कर जाते हैं, तो उनके फाइटर जेट स्क्रैम्बल करके आएंगे, आपको इंटरसेप्ट करेंगे, और फिर भी आपसे मतलब इंटरनेशनल फ्रीक्वेंसी में बातचीत करेंगे, और आपको या तो वहां अपने एरिया में लैंड कराएंगे, आपको वापस आएंगे। तो जो भी सिस्टम हो वो अलग अलग है। तो हमने उस एरिया में हमने IB क्रॉस कराई नहीं, लेकिन हमें मैसिव स्ट्राइक दिखाई कि हम IB क्रॉस करने वाले हैं। उससे उनका सारा ध्यान वहां, और इधर हमने हमारे लो लेवल के टेरेन फॉलो करके, तो ये डिटेक्ट ही नहीं हुए, और एक एग्जैक्ट स्पॉट पे जो डिस्टेंस था, वो ऑलरेडी स्पाइस में, सब स्पाइस टूर में सारे कोऑर्डिनेट फिटेड थे, वहां से वो लॉन्च किए गए, एंड देन वो जाके डिस्ट्रक्शन में। तो ये पूरा प्लानिंग का एक पार्ट था, मैसिव प्लानिंग जो की गई, और अलग अलग डिवीजन क्रिएट किया गया, सब कुछ किया गया, हर तरह के सपोर्टिंग एक और थे। ठीक है, तो जिस तरह से इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जैमिंग की गई, एयर डिफेंस किए गए, और Su-30 हवा में काफी देर तक रहे, जब तक मिराज वापस नहीं आए, फिर Su-30 वापस आ गए, जब तक उनका रिएक्शन हमारे सारे कट वापस आ चुके थे, क्योंकि हमने ज्यादा दूर गए नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे पास वेपन ऐसा है कि हम दूर से लॉन्च कर सकते थे। तो ये बेसिक प्लानिंग जो थी इस तरह से की, और इसकी एग्जीक्यूशन इस तरह से हुई।
सर बहुत आपने बड़े ही अच्छे से इसको बताया, समझाया कि, और वाकई में जिन लोगों को इसके पीछे का मैथमेटिक्स, इसका एल्गोरिदम नहीं पता होगा, उनको जो अभी जो आपने जो बताया वो सुनेंगे तो उनको बहुत चीज़ें समझ में आएगी। सर ये स्ट्राइक हमारी करने के बाद में नेक्स्ट डे हम लोगों ने देखा कि पाकिस्तान के भी लगभग 15-18 फाइटर जेट्स, वो ऐसा मीडिया रिपोर्ट और सब जगह होता है कि हमारे अंदर घुस आए और उन्होंने बॉम्बिंग करी। तो फिर हमारे एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम और ये सब चीजें उनको पकड़ क्यों नहीं पाए? क्या क्या पूरा सीन हुआ?
बड़ा जायज क्वेश्चन है। इससे पहले मैं आपको बताऊंगा हमने हमारी डैमेज क्या हुई, जो हम बालाकोट में डैमेज की बात करते हैं, पहले थोड़ा वो बताता हूँ। तो जो स्पाइस टू राउंड वेपन जो यूज किया गया, इसकी कैपेबिलिटी 100-120 किलोमीटर दूर से लॉन्च करते हैं। ये क्या है, ये भी टेरेन को फॉलो करके जाता है लो हाइट पे, और टारगेट से करीब 30-40 किलोमीटर पहले बिल्कुल वर्टिकली ऊपर चला जाता है और फिर उसी तरह वर्टिकली नीचे आता है। तो इसके जो हेड में एक जो इसका जो चार्ज है, जो डिस्ट्रक्शन केबिलिटी वो है हेड, उसमें एक बंकर बस्टिंग का भी होता है। दैट में वो पूरी कंक्रीट को उड़ा के एक बड़ा सा होल क्रिएट कर सकता है। तो पहला हिस्सा जो होता है स्पाइस बहुत लंबी मिसाइल है और मल्टीपल हेड्स होते हैं। तो वो जो है पहले होल क्रिएट करके उसको एक बंकर बस के जिस घर में वो छुपे थे टेररिस्ट सारे, तो उसके अंदर वो पूरा कंक्रीट में होल करके ऊपर से नीचे गया। अब अंदर जाके उसके जो है मल्टीपल उसके ऑप्शंस है हमारे पास। उनमें से एक ऑप्शन है हीट एंड प्रेशर जनरेशन का ब्लास्ट। तो हीट इतनी जनरेट होती है, ऑलमोस्ट वो 3000 डिग्री सेल्सियस की हीट जनरेट हो जाती है, जिसमें इवन दी एयरक्राफ्ट्स विल मेल्ट। तो आप सोचिए ह्यूमन का क्या होगा,
राइट,
इट विल नॉट एग्जिस्ट, मतलब आपको उसके एशेस भी नहीं मिलेंगे, इतनी हीट जनरेट होती है। मैं सिर्फ आपको स्पाइस रन का एक छोटा सा आपको नमूना बताता हूँ कि वो क्या केबिलिटी उस वेपन की। जब हमने ट्रायल करे थे उसके, तो हमने एक ब्लास्ट पैन के अंदर MiG-21 रखा, जैसे पुराना कोई जहाज था उसको रखा। तो जब वो पूरा जाके हमने फाइनली ब्लास्ट करे और कंक्रीट में होल करके नीचे गया, तो एयरक्राफ्ट के पोर्शन मेल्ट हो चुके थे, इतनी हीट थी, इतनी प्रेशर। तो यही सेम स्पाइस में जब यूज किया, अंदर सिर्फ ह्यूमन है, तो आप सोचिए ह्यूमन मतलब बोन्स वगैरह सब कुछ अब एकदम मेल्ट, खत्म, इट वेनिश।
राइट, बराबर।
इसलिए वो सब रोते रहे कि डेड बॉडीज नहीं मिली। वो कहाँ मिलेंगी, वो तो सब मतलब दे विल डिसअपीयर, दे विल वेपराइज, इफ आई यूज द वर्ड कि दे ऑल वुड हैव बीन वेपराइज्ड, जैसे फिल्मों में देखते हैं। सो इट्स अ वेपन व्हिच वाज यूज्ड particularly for destruction. Now this particular thing, destruction which has been done, I feel very bad when our political opposition parties, they act like fools and they ask for proof. When I discovered it was done in a very, very secure manner in a satellite blind period. So where will they have photo? And why do they need a photo? They should have the faith in our army and air force.
Absolutely.
They start asking questions. Why do they need questions? I'll tell you, look at any country. Look at USA. Look at Israel. Look at even Pakistan. When their Air Force did this, right, nobody asked this question, what is the proof? It is only in India. The political parties, I don't know, I can't use that word against them. It hurts. What is the point? Under the garb of democracy, they start asking, no, democracy is not the freedom for everything.
Right.
And that's a very sad part of the whole thing. And I think such politicians should be removed from the system. I'm very strong about it. They don't deserve to be our politicians. In fact, they don't deserve to be Indians, if I put it very strongly. Any Indian will believe it, some force. Yeah, you believe they're standing there for saving you. Okay? And in any case, we don't have to give proof to our own. It's like this, it's like Agni Pariksha on everything. Not correct. Okay? So that is the kind of thing which I want to convey. And so this was done very precisely, in a very, very precise manner. And we caused the damage that we wanted. 300 plus terrorists were written off in one go. And that sent a very strong message to Pakistan. And you were seeing there was a huge decline in terror attacks after that.
Right. Absolutely.
So otherwise, every year in Delhi itself, we had 7 blasts on one day, one evening in Connaught Place area, 7 blasts. This was the condition during Congress ruling time. And it used to happen. Every day we used to have blasts. And people used to say, किसी अनजान वस्तु को हाथ में लगाना बम हो सकती है. मतलब government was saying, government is so weak that they say अनजान वस्तु को हाथ में लगाना बम. What are you doing? Look at this now, the way this government took action. After that, we never heard this slogan, किसी अनजान वस्तु को हाथ में लगाना बम हो जाए. कभी सुना आपने उसके बाद?
नहीं.
अब नहीं सुनते ना? Is that only? So a lesson had to be taught to Pakistan, to terror outfit, which has been done. So this was the ultimate aim. Now I come to the next question. Now what happens is, at a world level, when we did this whole thing, obviously Pakistan army felt this thing depressed because of, they always been getting hit from India. They never won a war against India. They lost all wars. Despite that, they maintain the control of the government there. Look at this. The losing army has control over the country. That is the thing. They are the losers every time. They lose in cricket also with us. So these people, so they were rattled. Now they wanted quickly as an image building was in front of in the eyes of their countrymen. They were like sitting duck. India has come and hit you and gone. On one side, they were saying, no, there will be no attack, there will be no attack.
Exactly.
On the other side,
They were
they
in
did not
denial.
retaliate. So what does it prove to you? Why will they retaliate if there is no attack? If there is no
Absolutely.
attack, they should start dancing, there is no attack. And they should distribute sweets. But if there is the retaliation, it itself is a proof. That's what I'm trying to tell our politicians, opposition parties. They were blinded, they're like fools. The Pakistan itself is telling you there was something because of which they want to retaliate. So now what happens is when this kind of retaliation takes place, the sanity of the leadership is that you don't retaliate further because you don't want to escalate. आपने
Right.
लेसन कर दिया, अब थोड़ा बहुत उनको अगर करना है, doesn't matter. Unless they go all out, no country wants war. At least India doesn't want war. We are not warmongers. And we want to grow economically. So we had taught a lesson. So the instruction was very clear, we don't retaliate unless it's very massive. So what Pakistan did was, they also did the airstrike, but they launched few long distance bombs from about 10-15 kilometers because they don't have any other long distance bombs like we have. So they dropped near the army camps, few army camps close to water, and that's all. So that's how they went. Now, unfortunately, this whole thing escalated into something else, which was your earlier discussion, Abhinandan.
Right.
Now, while we knew that Pakistan Army or Air Force will retaliate, so we had our air defense fighters in the air. They do patrolling. So we had, over Vantipur area, we had the MiG-29, or then Su-30, then again Mirage, like this combination of these aircrafts. And few aircrafts are on ground ready with missiles, ready on ORP, Operation Ready Platform, to launch within 2 minutes. So this kind of air defense system plus our air defense. Now our air defense weapons fire only when somebody crosses inside your boundary. Like I told you, if we cross onto Pakistan, their interceptor will come to us. They will intercept us. And they'll warn us that you are in our territory, and they'll either make you land there or force you to turn back. Okay. If you don't do any of these, then they are free to fire at you. Okay. Or you are able to go inside the enemy territory undetected and the air defense system is on, then they'll fire at you. Okay. So same way, these aircraft had to come inside, violate our international boundary, come inside, then only we could have fought at them. So they also did what we did. They stayed away from the boundary, dropped some slightly longer range weapons, which caused some minimal damage on ground, and that's it. And they turned back. That was the thing. So we couldn't have fired our air defense weapons at them. They never came into that zone where they were crossing the international boundary. Short of that,
मीडिया में ऐसा हो रहा था कि वहां के जो है 15-20 फाइटर जेट्स वो भारत में आ गए और फिर यहाँ पर उन्होंने बॉम्ब गिराए.
Our media, unfortunately, I don't want to say much about this, the fourth pillar, but they, in their exuberance, breaking news, all that, they don't go by facts.
Right.
They're in a hurry to do something and quickly get the TRP. That TRP issue has, caused problem.
Right.
There's no fact check.
Right. मतलब पाकिस्तान के जो फाइटर जेट्स है वो भारत की बाउंड्री में आए ही नहीं. उन्होंने उनकी बाउंड्री में रहते हुए ही यहाँ पर बॉम्ब गिराए जो कि टारगेट पे नहीं गिरे और बहुत
थोड़े बहुत गिरे और hardly damage because the weapons are not very devastating. It's just to basically the strike was just to get their image back in their own country. That's all. कि हमने कुछ कर दिया.
Absolutely.
Understand? They also knew that they can't escalate because they are no match to India today. So they knew they also don't want to escalate.
Right.
So I'm sure at diplomatic level, some time must have been done through USA, through Russia. At least let us do our image recovery. Something like that must have been done. I'm not sure about it, but I think so. ऐसा कुछ हुआ होगा.
Right. तो सर फिर right.
I'm coming to that only. Like, sorry, you please.
No, I was just asking कि जो फिर अब विंग कमांडर अभिनंदन जो थे वो फिर कैसे इसमें इंटरेक्ट हुए, उन्होंने कैसे F-16 मारा, कैसे फिर हमारे और उनके फाइटर जेट्स जो डॉग फाइट जो हम लोग कहते हैं वो हुई, तो वो फिर कैसे हुआ सर?
तो वही बता, I'll come to that only. That's a genuine question after as follow-up question. Now, while the ACOT raid was coming inside, okay, we went on high alert. So they were carrying certain missiles which were from the USA, which had a long-range missiles, long range. F-16 were carrying long-range missiles, AMRAAM, उसे AMRAAM बोलते हैं. Now, those AMRAAMs, as far as we are concerned, as per the understanding with convention with USA was, those AMRAAMs were placed for Afghanistan war.
Okay.
To be used by US F-16. But they were kept on the Jacobabad air base of Pakistan.
Okay.
Now, what Pakistan did was, because the control of that missiles is with USA, with the only condition was that Pakistan can use it against India only in case of its defenses, not attack. So Pakistan must have spoken to US or whatever has happened. They showed as if they are going for defensive mission on this next day, 20th February. So on 27th February, when they came, I'm sure they must have given some lies to USA, and USA must have allowed them to use AMRAAM. Now, this AMRAAM is a missile which is of air-to-air missile, which is of higher range than what our Su-30 carries.
Okay.
So what happened when the Su-30 was there? Suddenly the AMRAAM was detected. Then we have to take evasive action. While we take this, the ACOT is coming closer and closer. So F-16 were coming closer. Okay. Now during this time, on ground, Bison was ready to launch because Su-30 is taking evasive action. Same is all this air combat is going. So this ACOT was launched. Now when this ACOT was launched, when it took off towards Pakistan, by the time F-16s have come much closer, they are still on their side. They are not crossed into our territory.
Okay.
And then none of them crossed. But so when he came closer, and he saw the F-16 was, there are two F-16 which are one behind each other, like this, if I say, one is there, and the other, how do I show you? Two ACOTs, if you can see. One is ahead, other one is about 15-16 kilometers behind. They go in pair.
Just like this.
See,
okay, now you can do that.
Like this. How do I show you? Is not like this, a little ahead and behind. Okay. So when they go like this, there are two F-16, both are carrying the AMRAAM, they're going behind. Now, when they do like this, the main thing is it's called hunter killer. This thing, kind of thing. So the first ACOT which is ahead is only hunter. It hunts the target. But the killer is the rear one. Okay. So it is like a bait in front. So the first ACOT bait which came closer, Abhinandan got him on his radar. When he took off, his radar was on, so he got it. Now, that ACOT was in the missile range of Abhinandan. Okay. So he saw it's an enemy ACOT target and he shot at it. So when he fired his missile hit the F-16. Okay. But that F-16 had still not crossed the boundary, which is the mistake. Which is a grave mistake. He should not, because the shooting down of enemy ACOT you cannot do till he has crossed into your border. And there is no war declared. So it is, the point is the war has not been declared. There is no war. Unless they cross inside and do some damage inside, then you are at liberty to fire. So in his exuberance, he saw the tiger and intense heat, he fired at it. And luckily he got a shot. So historically, a MiG-21 has shot on F-16.
Right.
Okay. Which is now when this happened, the rear F-16, because he's behind, he has seen his leader getting shot, and now he has a longer range missile. Okay, so he took Abhinandan's ACOT on his radar. But now Abhinandan is also moving towards him. They are moving towards each other. So when that happens, he took him on radar and shot at him. During this process, Abhinandan has, in his exuberance, has crossed over the LAC. It is happening over close to LAC. Where Srinagar to LAC distance is hardly any. It's just about 15 kilometers. So the speed of the ACOT is about 800-900 kilometers. Within seconds you cross. Right. So rather than, because he was now concentrating on shooting the other ACOT, and in the bargain he also got shot. His ACOT got shot. So when he got shot, at that time both ACOTs, F-16 and Bison, both were in the Pakistan occupied territory. They were not over Indian territory. So the Pakistan ACOT F-16 fell into Pakistan, But the Indian aircraft also fell into Pakistan, so-called Pakistan, POK. The correct terminology is POK.
POK.
And then when he fell, obviously, the army all was deployed. They quickly apprehended him. And then they made him a prisoner of war. They took him, and then he became the kind of POW. Though there was no war, but then he became, they took him since he was shot. So that is how the Abhinandan was, captured by the enemy, Pakistan.
Right.
So this
Sir,
was a kind of a mistake actually, that in the heat of the movement, and a lot of things happen because there is no time. You see the enemy aircraft and quickly do so. He's a younger pilot relatively, so it happened. The best thing is that he shot down F-16, and then then obviously then there was a lot of diplomatic pressure and all those things. We had to get him back.
राइट सर, इसमें एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हुई थी, वो ये हुई थी कि हम लोगों ने हमारा ही हेलीकॉप्टर शॉट डाउन कर दिया था, तो वो कितना बड़ा ब्लंडर था, वो कैसे हुआ सर?
That is the gravest mistake. Those people should have been hanged. I have no doubts in this. I am very clear. Before I just cover this, I just want to give you a shorter core input. When the Abhinandan ejected, okay, it was a big binding for the government to now get him back. We were fortunate that we had Mr. Modi as Prime Minister in India and Mr. Imran Khan as Prime Minister in Pakistan.
Pakistan.
It was a little weaker leader comparatively because he was a soft leader and he came under pressure. Otherwise, things would have turned nasty. Okay, and Mr. Modi was strong. So it is because of our strength, and Mr. Imran Khan gave in and got it returned. Okay, that is one of the issues that emerged. Now coming to your question. Now see what happened.
Sir,
Srinagar Airways was under.
Before you answer that, sorry, I'm interrupting you. आपने जो इमरान खान वाली जो बात कही, I still remember that speech from one of the member of parliament that he was speaking in the parliament that जिसमें वो मीटिंग थी जिसमें इमरान खान नहीं आए थे, वहाँ के आर्मी चीफ भी थे, फॉरेन मिनिस्टर भी थे, और भी कई थे कि खुदा के वास्ते अभिनंदन को छोड़ दीजिए वरना 9 बजे भारत पाकिस्तान पे अटैक कर देगा. तो वो I still remember that speech.
See that the entire Pakistan army and entire Pakistan, everybody knew that if we don't leave, knowing Mr. Modi, but the way we had done the strike and all, they knew that now the India will attack. That India is not the same India under Manmohan Singh or something. It'll just come charging at you. So they knew this and they were not ready for it. So there was a lot of international pressure also. And I must give the entire credit to Mr. Modi and his leadership. That is strength. Okay, made the Abhinandan be returned without any. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Had it been Mr. Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh, nothing would have happened. In any case, Balakot strike wouldn't have happened. So that is besides the point. So now, when the retaliation strike from Pakistan came on 27th February, the number of aircraft which are picked by radar were about 15, 16. They were coming towards the Srinagar.
Okay.
So during that time, Srinagar will go on high alert, obviously. The entire air defense system was activated. Normally, during activation of such system, the officer who sits in the control of this is a senior officer who controls the entire air defense weapons, and he takes the decision whom to shoot down, whom not to shoot down. Okay. Okay. Now he gets a full-fledged image and information about which are the friendly aircrafts flying in that area. Now, if the strike is imminent, that means strike is going to take place. Pakistan strike is coming towards you. Another 5 minutes, 6 minutes, or 4 minutes, it will be hitting you. During that time, the orders are very clear. Any aircraft flying quickly returns to base and parks inside the hardened shelter, or goes to a different base where he is safe from the sea. So that airfield which is under attack, okay, is kept safe and the assets are kept safe. Now this airfield under attack, one of the helicopter went on a routine mission. Now that is very surprising. And that information, so the moment airfield was expected to be under attack, he was told to turn back. He turned back. Now the officer who was in charge of this, he saw imagine aircraft coming from Pakistan is your intruder, isn't it? So they're coming from west. Any aircraft coming from south in your own territory, how can he be from Pakistan suddenly?
Right.
It can't suddenly pop up. No? So there's a mistaken identity, and the जो भी officer in charge था, I think he really lost his nerve and all. I'll use it that way. Who couldn't control? He didn't even find out the exact which is the aircraft. Okay. And then he ordered the missiles to be fired. Okay. Thinking that it is a Pakistani aircraft. In those conditions, you can't think. You have to verify. And it's a slow moving target. The other targets are coming very, very fast. So it's a slow moving target. You have time to counter it. So the balance could have been maintained that time. So this kind of thing, in that confusion or whatever you call it, he ordered the missile to be fired. And then that helicopter, our own helicopter, was shot down by our own air defense missiles. This was a huge, grave mistake by that officer in charge, and he needs to be punished from that. There's no doubt in my mind. It can't be pardoned. Because at that seniority, you have to have your cool and calm. And the basic thing that the strike was coming from western side of you, which is the Pakistan side. Certainly from your south, you can't have a Pakistani aircraft coming. You can't suddenly say pop up. Okay. And then there's a program. You know that program, that this is your own aircraft. Then there's a communication between the air traffic controller and this commander who's in charge. One of our aircraft is coming down.
Right.
The best is the mistakes, a lot of mistakes are done. The controller could have also told the helicopter to sit down where it is. The helicopter can park, immediately land anywhere. It doesn't have to come back to runway. And knowing that a helicopter is a slow moving, it will take 5-7 minutes to come. By the time the strike will be over you.
Absolutely.
So he'll be landing in the middle of strike. So best is to tell the helicopter to land where it is. Safe. Nothing of this was done. So that kind of thing, those things are definitely incorrect, which happened and all. And, sadly, we paid with the lives of innocent people on board. And I'm sure a lot of things have happened after that. Inquiry has done the justice to and all. But then there's it's not the thing. The training has to be really superb. So that one thing is very important.
Absolutely.
War-like situation once in a while, you can't. So you have to be mentally prepared for this. You can't flub.
Absolutely.
I'm very strong about it. This is my opinion, my personal opinion. There's no pardoning on this. No pardoning.
Right.
This is unpardonable.
Sir, right. Absolutely, sir. Very rightly said. Sir, 2019 में ये अटैक हम लोगों ने एयर स्ट्राइक करी, फिर उसके बाद लगभग अभी 5 साल हो गए. फिर कंसिडरिंग द करंट सिचुएशन, क्या वाकई में ऐसी स्थिति है, ऐसी सिचुएशन है कि हमें वापस इस तरह की कोई स्ट्राइक या इस तरह के कोई एक्शंस लेने की जरूरत है?
आई डोंट थिंक अभी ऐसा कुछ है, बिकॉज आई विल टेल यू द पाकिस्तान व्हाटएवर दे में से व्हाटएवर दे में अनाउंस नहीं, कुछ नहीं हुआ. हमारे पॉलिटिशियन पाकिस्तान की लैंग्वेज में बात करें, वो सब मतलब मैं तो कद्दू बोलता हूँ उनको यार. आई एम रियली आई हैव नो वर्ड्स टू एक्सप्लेन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पीपल वी हैव. Okay, so Pakistan, to be very sure, Pakistan leadership knows very well that if they do anything more now, India will not, especially till the time Mr. Modi is in the chair, they will dare not. You watch, we chutput karte rahenge. That too also, unfortunately, there are a lot of jachans in our society who will keep, helping this thing for their political motive or whatever reason is. And we'll keep having this chutput strike, but they will not do anything massive. They'll not. Like what you saw, the Taj Bombay attack, that kind of parliament attack. Pakistan will dare not do this. And as long as Mr. Modi is in chair, they will not do, I can assure you. Because they know the retaliation will come even bigger. Okay, with now, especially with Mr. Trump coming as the president, okay, Pakistan can forget about. In fact, Pakistan will now be on back foot because even there, the aid will stop. Because Trump is very clear. He said, the country which is involved in terrorism, there will be no aid given. Last time also he had stopped it. So Pakistan is in its own grave. They're in bad place. So they will not. I doubt there will be any more attempt by Pakistan to do anything. Like with Joe Biden, since he had a soft corner, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had soft corner for Pakistan. So they may have held India back, but now I don't think that. This is my political assessment. It is impossible now. So Pakistan will not do anything. This is my opinion.
सर आज आपके समय के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, क्योंकि आपने इतनी डिटेल में इतने अच्छे से इस पूरे मिशन को बताया, समझाया। आई एम श्योर जो भी व्यूअर्स इस पूरे एपिसोड को शुरू से आखिर तक देखेंगे, उन्हें ये पता पड़ेगा कि ये एयर स्ट्राइक कैसे हुई थी, कितने डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में प्लान की गई और कितनी सारी चीज़ें थी जो साथ में पैरेलली प्लान होती है। डिविएशन कैसे क्रिएट करना, एक्चुअल प्लान को कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करना, फिर उसके बाद में और भी कई सारी चीज़ें। तो सर थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम, और इन फ्यूचर आपसे ज़रूर फिर किसी इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक पे बात करने की कोशिश करेंगे। आज आपके समय के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
Thank you so much. I just want to end with one message for your viewers.
Sure,
through you to our countrymen. My only request to our countrymen is that don't get swayed by these politicians, especially opposition parties, who create huge amount of uproar for no reason, just for political gain. Our armed forces, Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Indian Navy, are very capable of defending our country. And whatever we do, believe us that we are doing for you. Okay? That the Balakot strike or the other strike earlier, which are done like Uri type. Now, our people should stand up against these politicians and counter them that they're telling lies. And why should politicians keep asking such stupid questions? You can't expose your entire planning. You can't expose your achievements, especially of these kind. Okay, we have an international image to keep. But we did what we did, and the outcome is what we wanted to see. That's it. Our countrymen should be thankful to the Indian Air Force for having done such a wonderful act. I'm telling you, Indian Air Force has done a wonderful task, which is the most difficult thing to do, in a very precise manner, in a very professional manner. So that is all. Believe in the IAF, believe in the Army, believe in the Navy. That's all I want to convey. And thank you so much for your time and getting this. Looking forward to much more interaction on these issues. And if there are any questions from any of your viewers, please share with me on my mail and all. I'll answer that.
Sure, sir. Absolutely.
I'll be more than happy.
Sure.
All right.
Okay,
thank you
sir.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.